I love telling the story of how I got here, but it's so not about me. We are 100% about the people and the communities that have supported this band for so many years. Metallica fans love to give back and support each other, and the family is a really wonderful, wonderful group.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Hey, Renee, great to see you.
How are you? It's great to see you.
I'm doing well. So you're Renee Richardson. You're the now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the director of philanthropy for All Within My Hands with Metallica. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. I help the band spend their money on do-goodery.
Oh, it's not actually. Is it their money or is it donations?
Well, it's their money, and donations. So it's twofold. We're like a family foundation. So the band has, in 2017, they decided they would give back a portion of ticket sales. They didn't raise prices for ticket sales. They gave back a portion of their ticket sales, and they would funnel that to All Within My Hands. So $3 from every ticket now goes to All Within My Hands so that we can provide support for the things that matter to the band. Metallica Scholars Initiative, the fight against hunger, and critical local services like disaster and relief in times of disaster. So the money flows there. And then the other part of it is I come from a development background. So I'm always looking for people to partner with us and help that cause and make our impact greater. So what my job is to find, like-minded supporters, fans who want to support this, everybody who has a disposable income and wants to give back can feel really good about giving to All Within My Hands because the band covers all administrative costs. Their dollars come right to us and go right back out into the programs that we support. So it's a combination of things. It's the band's money and it's also supporters.
Now you're the head of this whole thing. How many people do you have working with it?
Oh, please. We are a group. So I'm the sole employee of All
Oh,
Within My Hands. So
okay.
I'm the only one who is a full-time, I shouldn't say sole employee. That's not true. I'm the full-time employee of All Within My Hands, the foundation. We lean heavily on Metallica's digital team to support us in communications and, everything that we do out there on the internet and getting fans engaged. So they help us with the things we set out to do. And then we have a wonderful staff of volunteers. The executive director, Pete Del Grosso, he has a very busy other day job, yet he leans into what we do and he acts as executive director of the foundation. And then all four band members are members of the board of All Within My Hands, as well as management team and a couple of friends and folks who really support the work that we're doing as a foundation.
Now, real fast before I move on, I got to give a plug and a shout to all the struggle within Michigan fan club and Kurt Schwarz for helping me out and hooking me up with this. But how tight or how close do you work with the fan clubs throughout the country and throughout the world?
So that has been a beautiful thing, and that's been something that's been growing over the last few years. So in 2019, when we developed our day of service, we leaned on the Metallica fans. I mean, that was something we always knew that even if you could not give a dollar, you could give your time. So we created this day of service, and that was the first touch point for All Within My Hands with the fans. Now, Metallica has had their relationship with the fans and the many wonderful fan clubs around the world for many years. But for All Within My Hands to start getting engaged with those folks was really important. And as time has gone on, the relationship has really grown. We started in 2020 when COVID hit, everything changed and we couldn't volunteer as a group in the same manner, and food banks needed different kinds of support. So that's when we reached out and developed our month of giving. So May is now month of giving, and we checked it out with the fan clubs and said, would you be into a little friendly competition see who can raise the most funds for All Within My Hands. We'll pick a project every month of May. So we gave back to World Central Kitchen. We've supported Support and Feed. We've supported FarmLink Project. Right now, we're doing work for the Metallica Scholars program. So we're helping to raise funds for people who are learning a trade and getting upskilled in a trade so that they can help support their families. So it's been really, really great. And the fan clubs are a huge part of what we do as a foundation. They're kind of like, they're the muscle behind it in a lot of ways for getting the word out and getting drumming up excitement about what All Within My Hands is doing. So shout out to Kurt. He is becoming a dear friend. In fact, I was in the snake pit with him at Virginia Tech, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And speaking of that, so do you travel with the band? Like, are you in Philadelphia this weekend as we record this? Like Rob Dietrich from my friend from Blackened and the cigar company. Do you travel with the band?
So I travel when it makes sense for the foundation. So if we certainly have volunteer activations as much as we can in every city on tour. I don't always get the opportunity to do those volunteer moments with the fans, which is unfortunate. But I do have a lot of moving parts in my world. So I go out when it really makes sense. I'll be in Philly because we have a lot of Metallica Scholars partners in the area. We also have food banks that we're doing work with. I was in Blacksburg for Virginia Tech because we had a lot of connections there. And I also co-host the Metallica Report, the official podcast for Metallica. And so sometimes I get sent out so that I can capture some audio for our show.
That's awesome. And what's the name of the other gentleman that's on the podcast with you?
Stefan Shirazi.
You guys do a great job, by the way.
Well, thank you. We have fun.
No, I didn't even realize that was you, to be quite honest with you. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the more that the more they find out you have a talent at something, the more they bring you into the fold.
Try to remember, do you have a background in media?
I do. I do. I was a radio host for 30 years in San Francisco. I was on a morning show at KFOG for about 25 years, and I did a number of years at Live 105.
Yeah, KFOG, yeah, Live 105, two historic stations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, with that podcast, that's pretty cool. So, you guys, obviously you run the gamut as far as talking with the guys from Metallica and about topics and different things like that. And do you guys put that together yourself?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're on Pantheon Media, so we work with the team over there to put the, technically get it out there. But Steph and I and Michael and Lane and Mark Ryder and a whole host of folks, we work on it together, and we find where the story goes. We like to give folks a behind the scenes look at what's happening with the band when we can, and then get them excited about the other stuff that we're doing.
All right, tell you what. Let me get into some fandom questions here. But first, I want to ask you: how does one get a job with All Within My Hands, like you did? How does that start?
So it's interesting. We're not hiring right now.
I'm talking about, like, how did you get hired?
My journey was an interesting one. I was in radio, as mentioned. I was always worked in San Francisco on the air, and when you're in the entertainment and music business in a city like San Francisco, you get to know folks along the way, especially bands that hail from there and call that place home. So I had, reasons to intermingle with the Metallica camp over the years. And then as radio changed and things were just kind of getting less fun in the radio world, I started doing more philanthropic work and using my talent to help nonprofit organizations. So I would help do, auctions and give, put my local celebrity, my name to things that needed to happen. And I really got engaged in Blue Bear School of Music, which is a nonprofit music school in San Francisco. And I'm also on the board for Project Glimmer, which helps foster girls. But working with the nonprofit organizations opened my eyes to this world that is so interesting to me and is so impactful that I really dug in. And at the same time, Metallica were forming their foundation. And so I would talk to members of the management team, and they were talking about how, this was new for them to start a nonprofit organization and have a family foundation. I call it a family foundation. That's how I see it. So So I was just at a place where all things aligned. I had all this newfound knowledge in the nonprofit sector. I had this entertainment and music background from radio. And so there were things that just came along with this job that nobody had to explain to me that I could take and just understand what the mission was and understand how to take it forward and then get everybody engaged in that idea.
So, did you grow up on the West Coast?
No, I'm from New York. I'm from Rockland County, New York, and I moved to California in '92 and got into radio shortly thereafter. And then I'm temporarily in South Carolina right now. My dad is aging, and my husband and I said we'd come out here and help him navigate this part of his life. So I'm back and forth on the East and West Coast.
Well, good luck to you on that, and of course to your dad. But
Thanks.
what was the first time I saw Metallica was in 1988 at the Monsters of Rock tour with Van Halen
Uh,
and Doc, and then I met them for the first time in 1991, and I was in the Snake Pit and the Black Album. And that was in Buffalo in December of 1991. So, when was the first time you saw the guys, and when was the first time you met them?
So first time I saw the guys was '89 at Brendan Byrne Arena. I always forget if it's, I think it was the Brendan Byrne Arena. They change the names of these places all the time. It was '89. I was there to see the Cult
Mm.
because I was a massive Cult fan, and my cousin Michelle was a massive Metallica fan, and she dragged me kicking and screaming. I'm like, who are these guys? I don't have any interest in this. So when the Cult were done playing, I went off to the ladies' room, and I was actually in the women's room when they first started playing, and my just body just got so stoked. My ears were like on fire, and I'm like, what is this? And I ran out, and there they were, and it was awesome. It was like a moment of awakening to that the a hard band that could sound so clean and tight was really what I took to at that time. So that was my first show. Seen them quite a few times over the years. And first time I met them, I don't even really remember when I first met them. That's funny.
It was obviously back in your days in San Francisco, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Like when I was in radio, I'd go to movie screenings and Lars would be in the theater and we had mutual friends. And so I think probably first official meeting might not have been until I was on staff as All Within My Hands, like that. We exchanged names and, they got to know who I was.
Yeah, I've had some memorable interviews with them. I just interviewed when they were here in Detroit a year and a half ago. I talked to Robert in two parts, a two-part interview, and he was great. You know, I talk about this sometimes on the air, but James to me is my favorite. He like epitomizes rock star, and he's so approachable, and he's a nice guy. And I remember waiting for Robert, and this I've had a chance to interview and meet James a bunch, but and he drove by in his SUV and got out. And he's like, "Hey guys, what's happening?" That's just how he is. He's just a nice guy.
Yes, absolutely.
And what about your experience with James and Robert and Jason, perhaps maybe?
Oh, so I have a great James story. All right, you're helping me remember this. It was San Francisco. It was Metallica night at the San Francisco Giants. I had just come on board as a new person in the Metallica camp. I was sitting in the underbelly of the ballpark, waiting for. I was helping out with the VIP section because I know the ballpark, and so I was just there to help out. I was still very new to the organization. And James was the first one to walk in, and we introduced ourselves, and I explained how I was going to be helping with the foundation. And I asked him, I was like, I know you're most interested in the Metallica Scholars portion of what we're doing and getting tradespeople upskilled and giving back to education in that manner. And so he started to tell me all about Mike Rowe and how he just loved Mike's philosophy. And we sat there for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes talking about Mike Rowe. And when I went out to the VIP area to do the job that I was assigned that day, who walks by but freaking Mike Rowe? So I looked at him, I'm like, Mike, because I know him from, from San Francisco radio stuff. So I'm like, Mike, James and I were just talking about you. And he was like, oh, can I go back and see him? And I was like, yeah, let's get you back there. So I sent him back. They hung out. It was also Mike Rowe's girlfriend's birthday, and he was gone from her for like 45 minutes, and I had to entertain her, and I felt very bad about that. But anyway, I hope you get a nice present. When I was on the field before James and Kirk were going to play the national anthem, um, James, and this was the moment, like I've never get really stunned by rock stars because I've been in this world for so long. But James came walking out from the dugout, and he's just tall, and he's such a presence. And he walked straight up to me, little old me, standing there doing whatever I had to be doing. And he came straight to me and he was like, "We just manifested Mike Rowe."
That's funny.
And I was like, holy shit, we did.
Funny you mentioned watching James walk because I saw the tour with Guns N' Roses in 1992.
Yeah.
Metallica came off the stage around 9 o'clock or so, and it was it was starting to get a little bit darker, and it was starting to get a little bit cooler. So Lars and Kirk and Jason all came by me. I was standing backstage. They all came by me on their golf carts with black robes on and like towels covering their faces as to not get sick from the cool air. And here comes James walking down this tunnel, which was about 20 or 30 feet wide, all by himself. Just walked, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I'm like, he just walked like, I just killed the dragon. I am done. My job is done. Has been rocked, and I'm just going to walk out of here.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll never forget. That was
It's
33 years ago. I'll never forget it.
it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
really awesome.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, we could share Metallica stories all day long, I'm sure, but I just want to make sure that people know about the foundation. All within my hands, of course. A lot of people, the guys from Metallica have been doing this great work for years.
Mm-hmm.
They can punch up the website. They can, help out wherever you may be, and of course, donate their time and money as well. Correct?
Correct, absolutely. And I just want to make it clear, I love telling the story of how I got here, but it's so not about me. With this organization, we are 100% about the people and the communities that have supported this band for so many years. And we want to show them, Metallica fans, new and old, really love to give back and support each other. And the family is a really wonderful, wonderful group. So it's about the work that we're doing together, and I'm just really proud to help talk about it with you.
And of course, next time you come to Detroit, we have to hang out.
Oh yes, I love Detroit. Last time I was there, the show. Okay, so that was for 2024, right? They were in Detroit.
November. Yep.
Yep. So I that show was probably my third or fourth on that part of the tour. And it's still the memory of the energy from the crowd at that first show was so great. And then I got the flu on Saturday and I couldn't go to the second show. And I was so sad because I was stuck in a hotel with the flu. But people of Detroit, I love you guys, man. I'll definitely come visit you the next time I'm there.